Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is finally over. It is the return of my weekly pick'em on this channel where I pick every single game and I tell you why this team will win specifically. You are free to disagree. You're free to tell me how wrong I am in the comments. Also, I will be bringing back the cash prize where if you go perfect, you will win $75 courtesy of me. All you have to do is be following my Instagram and vote on the games and go perfect. I give an extra $25 if you get the Thursday night game right, but this is primarily just for the Sunday through Monday games because I understand that there's not necessarily all that time for people to look on IG and vote on the story. So Thursday night, if you were able to vote and get it right and go perfect, you get $100. Does that make sense? With that out of the way, let's go ahead and begin, and I am super excited for kickoff as the Buffalo Bills are taking on the Super Bowl champs, the Los Angeles Rams. Yes, the Rams did lose a few key players in Von Miller and OBJ, but this more or less is still the same old Rams. Actually, now that I think about it, they have also lost Andrew Whitworth, so that's a huge leader on the offensive side that you lost. And on the flip side, you have the Buffalo Bills, where I stated in my tier list, had it not been for 6 seconds, there's a strong argument that could be made that the Bills could be Super Bowl champions. I actually have the Bills taking this one on the road. And I'm not at all saying that the Rams are going to have a Super Bowl hangover. Far from it. I just do believe that the Bills are the most complete team in the entire NFL, led by Josh Allen on offense. And every single position on the defense is absolutely scary. You tell me who is going to beat the Bills this year. This is already their big statement game of the year as the Rams fall to 0-1, Bills 1-0. We now move to the 1 o'clock games, or in my time, 12 o'clock games, where we have the Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons. This is the picks 1 and 2 of the 2015 draft, and neither of them are playing from their original team. If I had to pick a sleeper on the NFC, it would have to be the Saints, because Jameis, if he's able to take down the interceptions, which he was proving last year before injury, he can be a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, which is all you need to be with that defense, with Cameron Jordan, Davis at the linebacker spot. But you guys did lose your corner in Gardner Johnson. That was a questionable move, but I still feel like this is still a very good, solid New Orleans team. On the flip side, even though Marcus Mariota will be better, history has shown us that this guy will be hurt by week 3. Who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us and get hurt by halftime. Ooh. Kyle Pitts is definitely the #1 target on that offense, but he will be heavily defended against. The defense of the Falcons will not be able to keep up with the Saints' high-powered offense, as Michael Thomas will go lights out, proving that he is still somewhat that guy from 17 years ago. I have the Saints winning this one. They will jump up to 1-0, and the Falcons drop to 0-1. The Cleveland Browns, led by Jacoby Brissett and the gang, taking on Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, the Browns do not have their quarterback that they want to start, the one with all the guaranteed money. I'm sticking to it. I am not mentioning that guy's name for the foreseeable future. This is already Baker Mayfield's revenge game, and something tells me that his team will rally against him. Bruh. You guys forget that the Panthers sucked on offense, but that defense was low-key a solid unit. With Baker Mayfield's moxie, you know, that is a thing. With his moxie, I think that the offense does just enough to take care of Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, and everyone else on that defense. I have a feeling that this will be a pretty ugly game, but I actually have the Panthers coming away with this one for Baker's revenge game. The Baker Mayfield-led Panthers will take this one 1-0 to the Cleveland Browns 0-1, starting the season the only way the Cleveland Browns have known for the past 18 years. Taking an L. We have the San Francisco 49ers visiting Soldier Field to take on Justin Fields and that neutral powered offense. I'll be rather quick with this one. I feel like overall the 49ers have the more complete team over the Chicago Bears. There is no reason to believe that the 49ers can't win this one unless Trey Lance has some early young struggles. Outside of him throwing 2 or 3 interceptions to keep the Bears alive in this one, I have the 49ers winning this one. This is going to be a game where you guys have to make a statement to prove you guys made the right choice switching from Trey Lance from Jimmy G. Speaking of Jimmy G, props to him. He dropped his massive contract to accept a 1-year, $6 million deal. Not many people would agree to do something like that. So kudos to him. George Kittle will have a great game, as well as Debo, as well as Ayuk. Honestly, everyone will have a great game except Jimmy G. Niners take this one, jump to 1-0. Justin Fields and the gang dropped to 0-1. The Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Similar to the Rams, I don't necessarily believe that the Bengals will have a Super Bowl hangover per se, unless you define Super Bowl hangover as just not making the Super Bowl again. Having said that, I do feel like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon will need to have a game that humbles them, and what better team to do it against than Mike Tomlin and Mitch Trubisky of all QBs. I do feel like this is already going to be a trap game because everyone does have the Bengals winning this one. But Mike Tomlin has proven before last year, because they got swept last year, Mike Tomlin has proven he has the number on the Cincinnati Bengals. And I do believe a big reason why the Steelers would lose last year was because Big Ben was the damn statue and we had a pretty decent rush. Now with Mitch Trubisky, who is actually pretty underrated, this is going to be a much more closer game than it has been in the past year. I actually have the Steelers, unfortunately for my Bengals, winning this one, as the Steelers do jump up to 1-0, surprising everyone. The Bengals will recover from this, but I do think that Mike Tomlin will have the edge over the Bengals in this particular game. Oh, that one hurt. That one really hurt. I need coffee. Next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Detroit Lions. And I'll be honest, as much as I've wanted to watch Dan Campbell on Hard Knocks, I don't have HBO. Unless it's not on HBO anymore, and I've just fallen with the times because that's where I thought it was. Anywho, I do like everything that is going on in Detroit, with Amon-Ra St. Brown having a breakout year. DeAndre Swift is still proving that he is an every down running back. And Jared Goff, well, he's proving he doesn't suck. You guys got to remember that last year the Lions had so many close games that they should have won but lost. I am a believer that their 3-14 record last year did not reflect where this team was heading towards. Having said that, on the flip side, you have Jalen Hurts, you have Miles Sanders, you have A.J. Brown, and you have Devontae Smith. You have all these weapons. You have every reason to believe that the Eagles will win this one on the road. And as much as I believe that the Detroit Lions will have a better season this year, I do not see the Detroit Lions knocking off the Philadelphia Eagles in this one in week 1. I do have the Eagles taking this one. They have a high-powered offense. It is do or die for Jalen Hurts to prove that he is the starter for the foreseeable future, and he does prove it at the very least in week 1. They will take this one on the road. Eagles 1-0, Lions 0-1. Let's go ahead and move on to the Indianapolis Colts versus the Houston Texans. Even though the Texans are better, would you call it better? Even though the Houston Texans have a year under their belts, they will not defeat the Colts. I'm going to be very quick with this one. Jonathan Taylor has proven that he is that guy. He is in the category of top 3, maybe top 2, top 1 running back in the entire NFL. And you did upgrade from Wentz to Matt Ryan. That even though Matt Ryan's older, he has proven that he has been a much better quarterback over the years compared to Carson Wentz. You also can't forget Michael Pittman out on the side as well. He's going to have another great year. Every year he's been building a little bit better. And what better way to start a season than against the Davis Mills-led Houston Texans. The Colts will win this one on the road. They will take this one and go 1-0. Meanwhile, Houston does drop to 0-1. But I would not be shocked if the Texans win this one, because one, they've proven that they can shock people by winning week 1. And on the flip side, the Colts did lose to the Jaguars last year when the playoffs were on the line. We have the New England Patriots against the Miami Dolphins. Second-year quarterback Mac Jones taking on third-year Tua Tagovailoa in what should be, well, I believe it should be a fun game. Even though the Patriots got routed in the playoffs last year, they still made it to the playoffs. Mac Jones now has a year under his belt. He will probably be able to open up the playbook just a little bit more. You can't ignore the running backs with Stevenson leading the way. And you guys did upgrade in the wideout position. You guys did sign Devontae Parker, a severely underrated wideout. He will be taking on his former team in the Miami Dolphins, where Tua has no excuse to not be great. I am rooting for Tua. I feel like he got a bad rap being compared to Burrow and Herbert, who honestly just went off. Tua now has the deep threats in Waddle and Hill, and you got Mike Gesicki at the tight end position. Bill Belichick, for whatever reason, does struggle against the Dolphins in Miami. I don't know if he's just spending too much time in the sun. I don't know what exactly it is, but I feel like that tradition does continue this year. I have the Miami Dolphins winning this one at home. Bill Belichick and the crew do drop to 0-1. Tua will prove that, you know, he's getting the hang of these deep threats. Maybe he's worked on his arm strength a little, if that's even possible. Let's go ahead and move on to the Baltimore Ravens taking on the New York Jets. I've said this in the tier list. The Jets arguably had the best draft in the NFL. Sauce Gardner on defense, he had a fantastic preseason. If you guys haven't heard, this guy wasn't even targeted for any of the preseason. I did get that from Instagram, so y'all can correct me on that if I'm wrong. Zach Wilson will get into the heads of all of these Ravens players because, as you know, Zach Wilson is a well, I don't know if I can say it because I don't know. I just started getting monetized, so I don't know if this will demonetize me. But you guys get where I'm going with that joke. In all seriousness, though, the Lamar Jackson-led Ravens were so injury depleted going into the home stretch of the playoffs. They were still in the hunt until Jackson got hurt. Now that you have all your pieces back, all your running backs are back, Jackson's back, Peters is back, Humphries is back, I really doubt that the Ravens will have the injury bug as bad as they had it last year. As much as I like the Jets draft, they still need time to mesh together. They still need time. This team is still about a year away from being true contenders in the AFC. And I don't see a healthy Ravens squad losing this one. They will take this one on the road. They will win, jump up to 1-0. Meanwhile, the Jets do drop to 0-1. We move on to the final 1 o'clock game where the Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Washington Commanders. On a side note, I feel like this is a great way to plug this in right here. You know, check that out after if you'd like. You have Doug Peterson, who is obviously an improvement for Urban Meyer. You have your running backs coming back. I do think Robinson's still maybe a week or two away, I think. But you do get your first round running back from last year back. Trevor Lawrence now has a year under his belt. He has the experience of NFL pass rushes. And he does have a better receiving core led by the $75 million man, Christian Kirk. Overall, this Jacksonville offense has improved and they do have the better coaching in place to, I wouldn't say make a run, but at the very least they're going to improve and they can kind of pick up where they left off as they did upset the Colts in their final game of the season. On the flip side, Washington does have a new quarterback and they did upgrade from Heineke to Wentz. As much as some people want to hate, Wentz is actually an upgrade, y'all. He is an upgrade. I don't know how I feel about Gibson, but I do know that the wide receiving core is really scary for Washington. Offensive line is pretty good, and you cannot ignore the defensive line where they will have Chase Young back in the lineup. Wentz will make a statement in this game. What better quote-unquote tune-up game than against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who still on defense aren't necessarily better. The Commanders will take this one at home. They will jump up to 1-0, and the Jacksonville Jaguars will drop to 0-1. Let's go ahead and move on to the 4 o'clock games as the New York Giants take on the Tennessee Titans. I've already stated how I feel about New York. I feel like as long as you have Daniel Jones under center, you are not going to do very well. Until I see Saquon prove me otherwise, he is not the same running back that he was in his rookie campaign. To Tennessee Titans, yes, they were one and done, but let's not forget that they were 13-3 last year, or 13-4. Keep forgetting there's 17 games. Ryan Tannehill is not a bad quarterback. Did he have a bad game? Yes. Does he have bad games in primetime? Sometimes. But regular season Ryan Tannehill on the Tennessee Titans is a good quarterback, and I don't know why people are trying to twist the narrative that he is not a good quarterback. And worst case scenario, you do have Willis waiting in the wings if you should need to break that seal. Derrick Henry should be back 100% healthy, and although you guys did lose AJ Brown, you guys did get a receiver in the first round, and I'm not saying he will be AJ Brown, but it's a nice piece to replace him with. There is no reason the Titans don't win this one at home. They will take this one, jump to 1-0. Meanwhile, the Giants drop to 0-1. What else would you expect? But this does scream trap game. The Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I can make so many jokes about both teams. You know, you lost Tyreek Hill. Now he's talking so much trash or so much about Kansas City, how Mahomes isn't as accurate as Tua. That's cap. On the flip side, you have jokes about Kyler Murray and his contract. All that aside, yada, yada, yada. Kansas City, despite losing Tyreek Hill, will defeat the Arizona Cardinals. I do feel like there's too much going on the Arizona side, where you do have the controversy with Kyler Murray. You also don't have DeAndre Hopkins. James Conner has proven he is a touchdown capable running back, so he's great in fantasy. I don't know if he can carry an offense. On top of losing Hopkins, you did lose Christian Kirk. You have an aging AJ Green in the lineup. I don't think it'll be enough to defeat the Tyreek Hill-less Kansas City team. Andy Reid is still too good of a coach to ignore. Patrick Mahomes is still a top 3 quarterback. I mean, he could still be argued he is the best quarterback. I have the Chiefs winning this one. Chiefs over Cardinals. These two teams played each other in week 17, where if they would have tied, they would have both made the playoffs. There was an airheaded decision by the Chargers to call a timeout, leading Oakland with no choice but to kick a field goal. It's up for debate how true that is, as you never really want your divisional rival to make the playoffs. So I don't know. It's up for debate. I don't know if I 100% believe the theory that the Raiders would have taken the tie. But you do have the Las Vegas Raiders now with Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs in his final year of his contract, Derek Carr with everything to prove this year, Darren Waller, etc., etc. You got them taking on the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers. Doesn't really make a difference. There's no fans anywhere. We're already in full AFC West divisional rivalry form. I've been saying that this is going to be the scariest division. Everyone's been saying that this is going to be the scariest division in football. They will beat on each other. And even though I have one team winning here, it doesn't mean that the other team is bad by a long shot. Even though Derek Carr and Devontae Adams did have chemistry in college, they haven't played together in about 6 or 7 years. So I still believe that they will still need time in-game real time to mesh a little bit more, a little bit better. And while the running game is decent, I don't know if it's enough to keep up with the proven high-powered offense of the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert is in year 3, and typically quarterbacks make a huge leap in year 3. I am scared to know what Justin Herbert's year 3 leap will look like, but we are here to witness it. I don't think that the Raiders defense will keep up. I have the Chargers winning this one. They will take it 1-0. Raiders drop to 0-1. This is my game of the week. I think this one is going to be absolutely fun. It's going to be a shootout, and I can't wait for it. We've got next the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. You've got goody-goody Kirk Cousins taking on Aaron Rodgers, who continues to make himself an enemy of the state. Aaron Rodgers will be playing psychedelically out of his mind against the Vikings. He is notorious for taking down his NFC North contemporaries with relative ease. And I do believe Kevin O'Connell will have a rude awakening, even with Rodgers not having Devontae Adams. You also have the dynamic duo at the running back position with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. They will make life easier for Rodgers in a Devontae Adams-less world. The questions remain on the offensive line. On top of that, the Vikings do have a scary front, led by Danielle Hunter, who was having a great year before he got hurt. On offense, Kirk Cousins has always proven he's a pretty good quarterback. But I will give the slight edge to Green Bay until they prove me otherwise. Green Bay tends to bully their divisional rivals. I don't see that changing here. The Green Bay Packers will take this one on the road. They'll jump up to 1-0. Vikings drop to 0-1. We now jump to the Sunday night game. As high-powered as the offenses are on paper, I'm calling with a slight bold prediction that this will actually be a defensive slugfest. Both defenses are actually very, very talented. On top of that, both offensive line units have been dealt with serious blows. If there's any way to get Tom Brady rattled, is to consistently give him pressure. I do believe this is something that will happen in week 1. I'm calling for an ugly game coming out of Sunday night. It's going to be something on the lines of 17-10. It's not going to be fun. It'll be a defensive-minded effort because both teams will keep each other in check. I will give the slight edge to Dak Prescott because he does have more mobility than Tom, so he can get away from some of these pressures and make a play if he needs to, although I'm not too sure who he's throwing it to, because outside of CeeDee Lamb, you're running thin on options on the wide out front. At the very least, if Brady has time, which I don't believe he will have, he has a plethora of options. I will say that this game is won in the trenches, and the edge goes to the Dallas Cowboys. They will take this one at home on Sunday night, and we will be ready to hear how about them boys for the next 7 days. Finally, we get to our Monday night game where Russell Wilson will ride into Seattle to face the 12th man and Geno Smith, who was named the Week 1 starter. Again, this is not much I can add to this that we don't already know. I've always said that the Broncos were a quarterback away from being serious contenders. Now they have a superstar quarterback who, granted, yes, was coming off a so-so year, but everything around him in Seattle was falling apart outside of Lockett and Metcalf. I don't see how the Broncos do not take care of business in Seattle despite the 12th man, despite Pete Carroll, despite Penny. You're playing Geno Smith. Hey, props to them. They say they have 2 QB1s on their team. Well, let's see. Now it's put to the test. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. Overall, the Broncos are the way better team. They will jump up to 1-0, and the Seahawks do drop to 0-1. So with that, I'll say,
Broncos country, let's ride.
So that's going to do it, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just remember, if you guys want to take part in this making possibly $75, all you have to do to participate in this chance to win money is to make sure you're following me on Instagram and to make sure you vote on every single game Sunday through Monday. Should you see this video early in the day on Thursday, you have a chance for an additional $25 because I will put a poll up for the Thursday night game. If you get that one right, Thursday night, along with going perfect Sunday through Monday, you get an additional 25 bucks. Again, all you have to do is vote and make sure you're following me on Instagram to qualify. If this is your first time on the channel, feel free to smash the like and subscribe button. We're on the road to 1250 subs. Appreciate you guys, and I'll be back next week. And make sure you guys check out the RG3 video. If you guys are into story time, that is a video for y'all. Until next time,
let's ride.